Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Since what's going on in the XRP world right now isn't simply another cryptocurrency story, let's get right to the point. Charts hype and other pump narratives are not relevant here. This is about a change in global financial power that is happening right now. The majority of people still fail to notice it. Actually, their goal is to get you out before the big relocation starts. It's likely that you've noticed how frequently the same headlines appear. XRP has died. Ripple slowed down. Regulators won't permit it. The media uses the same psychological playbook in every cycle. They fill the room with doubt, anxiety, and uncertainty, just while the next big shift's foundation is being built in the background. It isn't a coincidence. Conditioning is the cause. Prior to the Bretton Woods reset, they used gold. Prior to the institutional run-up, they used Bitcoin for this. And now they're using XRP to accomplish it once more. Due to XRP doesn't only refer to cryptocurrencies. It is a strategic asset designed to transfer funds more quickly than any other system now in use. It is intended for use by payment networks, banks, and other organizations. The same infrastructure that governs the worldwide flow of value. The major players want retail investors to be distracted or uninterested for precisely this reason. Before it becomes clear that XRP is the plumbing under the next global monetary layer, they want you to go. Take a look at the current events occurring all across the world. The debt of central banks is overwhelming them. Fiat systems are collapsing under their own weight, and governments are printing like there is no tomorrow. The rate of inflation is normalizing, not decreasing. The elites are aware that traditional financial mechanisms are losing their credibility. But they're not in a panic. In the name of innovation, they are revamping the system. If you find that excessive, consider the timing. The World Bank, BIS, and IMF are all promoting digital cross-border solutions at the same time that Ripple's technology, more especially XRP, is being tested, debated, and covertly embraced in trial projects around the world. This is how every significant change in financial history begins, carefully and quietly, with the actual integration taking place long before the general public is aware of it. I mean it literally when I say that they want you out, because accumulation occurs during this phase, which is the one we are currently in, not the headlines, not the gaudy bull runs. At this point, the institutions, insiders, and so-called smart money are setting up shop while the typical investor leaves the game. The quiet before the storm is here. Furthermore, the storm isn't just a haphazard price spike. The way value is transferred globally has been completely rewired. Now consider how long Ripple has been hidden away from the SEC lawsuit. Everyone believed XRP was going to be destroyed by that litigation. What if it wasn't, though? What if its purpose was to buy time to delay widespread adoption until the world's financial systems were prepared for a coordinated rollout? Since retail traders were debating on Twitter regarding, Ripple was working with payment councils, central banks, and regulators to discuss security vs utility. It's no accident. Calculated alignment is what that is. The system wants you to divert your attention for precisely that reason. Because it's too late to take a position once you recognize what's happening. Every significant wealth transfer starts like this. Opportunity in between stillness at the bottom and confusion at the top. The infrastructure is digital, programmable, and cross-border this time. Right in the center of it, XRP is silently awaiting its trigger moment. So keep this in mind as we proceed. The media's portrayal is irrelevant. It concerns the silent actions of the institutions. The narrative of XRP is far from over. It's only the beginning. And who really grasped what they were holding will be determined by what happens next. Okay, let's now examine more closely what's truly taking place behind the scenes. Because if you comprehend how the new financial system works, it becomes impossible to overlook XRP's placement. The real game isn't being played on the price charts, despite everyone's attention being drawn to them. In infrastructure, it is being played. Institutional settlement layers, BIS initiatives, and ISO 2022 are subtly uniting the world's banking system into a unified digital network. ISO 2022 is more than a simple messaging update. The way financial organizations convey value has been completely rewritten. All of the major central banks, including the Fed, ECB, BOE, and BIS, are moving to this format since it makes digital asset interoperability and enhanced data automation possible. Can you tell which token was created specifically to work with this standard? XRP. The decision to take on the SEC wasn't made overnight by Ripple. Since 2015, they have collaborated with governments, payment providers, and regulators. They are not interested in retail speculating. Institutional settlement is what it is. Instead than becoming just another erratic coin for trading hype, they want to be the link between actual money movements. Following the official implementation of ISO 2022 throughout several banking networks, the technical architecture of XRP now makes perfect sense. The missing piece of the puzzle seems to have just fallen into place. Here, let's make some connections. Under its projects Dunbar and Nexus, the Bank for International Settlements, or BIS, has been conducting digital settlement pilots. These projects are evaluating the interoperability of several central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, for cross-border payments. You know what? Each and every one of those pilots requires an asset that is neutral and unaffiliated with the currency of any one country. XRP is a wonderful fit for that description. It is quick, scalable, decentralized, and compliant with regulations. Interoperability depends on everything BIS has said in public. The timing becomes interesting at this point. Numerous financial behemoths, like DTCC, BlackRock, Citi, and JP Morgan, have been actively pursuing tokenization in recent months. They are developing methods to depict distributed money, bonds, treasuries, and real-world assets, ledgers. Adoption of crypto is not that. That is the combination of blockchain technology and conventional finance. This use case is the foundation of Ripple's whole business model. Consider it. Each year, DTCC manages more over 2 quadrillion in securities, even in the event that zero. If 1% of that traffic were to move through tokenized systems via an on-demand liquidity bridge, the potential for daily settlement would be billions. Once more, XRP was created specifically for that purpose. Immediate settlement without the requirement for pre-established accounts. This change's subsequent stage won't include retail exhilaration or hype. Announcements about integration and quiet, uninteresting changes that most people will ignore will be included. Don't get me wrong though, that's when the foundation locks in. XRP won't require excitement to move once Ripple's on-demand liquidity, or ODL, is integrated into international payment corridors. The price will be determined by utility itself. At that point, XRP actually separates from Bitcoin, when transaction throughput and liquidity requirements, rather than speculative trading, determine its value. Because of this, the most astute investors are currently keeping an eye on not Twitter drama or YouTube hype, but ISO deployment schedules, BIS pronouncements, and regulatory developments. Because liquidity will begin to flow via assets that genuinely address an issue once these institutional systems turn the switch, which they will. Retail hype is unnecessary for XRP. It must be adopted, and every indication, from ISO compliance to BIS pilots to Ripple's international financial partnerships, points to that acceptance happening covertly and in real time. Therefore, it's not because XRP is dead if you're holding it and wondering why the price feels depressed. The reason is that the actual players, while the retail folk is sleeping, they are still filling up. This is where the reality sets in. Because the next stage of XRP isn't about speculation or excitement. Utility-driven pricing discovery is the focus. Let's discuss the practical implications of it. Most cryptocurrencies currently rely on narrative momentum. They fluctuate according to news, enthusiasm, or the cycle of Bitcoin's dominance. However, XRP was never intended to be used in that kind of environment. It was designed with worldwide liquidity in mind, efficiency rather than volatility. In actuality, the price becomes more steady the more liquidity is required through the XRP ledger. Consider how central banks balance supply and demand and boost circulation to stabilize fiat currencies.